What's good, guys? So, got a deck profile for you, and I'm sure you guys all know the ban list dropped this morning. So, I'm in the lab cooking up my concoctions, and this is gonna be pure Sky Striker. I'm very happy and excited to see Engage back. So, let's get right in the deck list. I'll definitely need your guys' opinion on everything because it's been so long since I played Striker. But so many of you guys I know are a big fan of this deck, so definitely help me out. Let me know where I'm going. But I think the first thing to talk about when you're building a Striker deck these days is, are you building the deck to go first or second? So right now, initially, I'm going to try to go first, and I can definitely see this deck be really strong going second because Hayate can actually just grab your engage. And let me know in the comments which way you guys think is definitely better. But for the moment being, this is a going first striker deck. Let's get on with the list and all my ideas on like the choices and the ratios. So 3 Ray, 1 Rose. So 3 Rays, very standard, one of your starters, way better than Rose. And then I have 1 Rose, and I've seen this number all across. Like I've seen like 2, 3, 1, 0. I think one is fine. This card is by far way weaker than Ray, so I don't want to see multiples of this. But having the name literally lets your engine get going. So I could see a world where I might want to play like another copy. But now that Engage is back, I don't know if I really want another copy of Rose. If I lose it off Desires, I really don't care. So let me know what the correct number is for Rose. Maybe it is 2, but 3 seems so over the top, and I definitely don't want to break on it. Then the hand traps right now, even though Dragon Link and combo got hit, Tri Brigade is still a thing, and I think all the hand traps that hit Tri Brigade should still be played. And if you wanted to, you could even target Drytron in your main deck with cards like Droll, Skullmeister, DD Crow. I want to see how strong Drytron really gets after this ban list, and from there you can assess which hand traps you really want. But for the moment being, 9 hand traps, and you could even go, I think, 0 hand traps to 3, 6, any number. But 9 was a standard for most of the control decks playing around last format, so I stuck with that, and I stuck with the most generic one. So 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is really interesting in this deck because it lets you do the access code Celine combo. It lets you have a way to put out a lot of damage because this deck is notorious for having very long games that go into time, that are very slow because the monsters just are not that big. 1500 poke with Hayate over and over again. So I definitely do like the Effect Veiler in the main deck. And then the spells, the majority of the deck, as you guys know, you can't have main monster zone cards in this deck. Everything has to be in the extra deck, and then extra monster zone, and then you can activate the Sky Striker spells, and they all get additional effects if there's 3 in the graveyard. But for the spells, Call by the Grave, I think it's still super solid. If Dragon's still around, Call by the Grave is good against that, against the Seal, and then it's specifically really strong against Drytron, so I have no problem playing Call by the Grave, and it's a spell card. Reinforcements of the Army, another copy of the Ray. Drones, Upstart has to be. Upstart doesn't have to be in this deck, but it's really good because it's just a free spell engrave, and what as many spells you could play that are just free and like don't actually hurt the deck building of the deck. I think you could just throw those spells in. And then the card that just came back, Engage. I think Engage does make this deck way more playable, and it lets the deck be able to actually go first, I think, because you could actually fetch for something that's good on the following turns. Beforehand, I think most of the striker decks would try to go second, and just their win condition was actually just Mystic Mine. I think there's a little bit more of a direction now for the deck. So 1 Engage, and the ban list is in effect July 1st, I believe. So I think there's one more big tournament for Konami before everybody gets to play this, but this is for after the ban list is legal, which is July 1st. Then 1 multi-role, the 1 terraforming to search out the 2 Area 0 or the 1 Mystic Mine, where you're going first, so I didn't want to OD on the Mystic Mine, but I think Mystic Mine is still worth playing, even if people respect the Mystic Mine, because I think a lot of people, especially the Tri Brigade players, are going to be respecting Mystic Mine, and I could see a Duster or Order or like Cosmics in the main deck of Tri Brigade. So I didn't want to go into the whole idea of like playing triple Mystic Mine, and I'm going first as well. So I thought Mystic Mine kind of just conflicted with that, but having the option to get to the Mystic Mine when you lose the dice roll game 1 is very nice, and it gets you an engine card, Area 0. You could cut the Mystic Mine to 0 and probably play 3 Area 0 just to increase the chance to see Ray as much as possible, but it's still in the works, like I said. And then the other striker spells, 3 Widow Anchor, crazy, mad good right now into the Tri Brigade deck. Effect negations such as Chalice, Impermanence, or Effect Veiler, so good. So why wouldn't Widow Anchor be good? I think the striker deck surprisingly has a really strong matchup into the Tri Brigade deck. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that definitely is one of the selling points for this deck. Well, whenever one of your decks has a very strong matchup into one of the meta decks, it's always going to be a strong rogue deck, and maybe we'll see this into the meta as well. Because even the next card, Shark Cannon, I even thought about playing 3 Shark Cannon. You could go 1 to 3 with this, but Shark Cannon is really strong against Drytron, so I was just like, oh, if Drytron actually gets crazy, maybe I would play 3 Shark Cannon. And then the Eagle Booster, I think Eagle Booster is really good. Having the one ofs that you could just search now with engage whenever, and having the higher count for the area 0 to always actually hit a card is nice. So the one ofs are going to be the Eagle Booster, the Afterburners, the Jamming Waves. I think these all change depending on what the format is looking like. Sometimes Eagle Boosters add multiple, sometimes it's not even there. Sometimes Burner is better than Jamming Waves, but first day of the ban list, so I definitely want to stay as leveled as possible and have as many options. And as I keep playing, as I keep seeing other people build this deck, I'll see which ones are the right ratio. But I think this is a very cookie cutter way to build the Striker deck right now. And then you're going first, so I'm thinking this slot can probably be a lot of different things, but I'm going to try Goods again. Goods in theory sounds good because it is a way to get to the engage turn 1, and if your deck is built to play turn 1 and not go second, I think Goods should be fine. I think Goods stacks spells really easy. It gives you the chance to get to Metal Foes Fusion as well if you didn't want to just send engage. And then if you have Goods Desires, like you could go Goods, put the Desires in graveyard. Put the engage in graveyard so the Desires doesn't banish the engage. So I think that's nice. I can definitely see people just cutting it as well because it does feel still a little bit weak. But for the moment being, you're going first. I don't think I would play this if I was going second because it's completely different. You have a 6 card and you want every card to be a spell or something that like actually interacts with the field. But going first, I can see Goods being good. And then the 1 Fusion. Then the Triple Desires. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to tell me, oh, you can't play Desires in this deck. Play Prosperity or something, or play Extravagance. You definitely cannot play. I would not play Extravagance or Prosperity. Maybe you could fit Prosperity, but the thing with Prosperity is I think hitting the extra deck for 6 is very difficult, and it makes your grind game way weaker. Yeah, Desires can hit some of your one-of spells, such as Engage or Roll, but you can still play the game. And resolving a Desires almost feels on the similar level to engage. You're getting 2 cards for the cost of 1. Banish 10 is not a real cost in my opinion, so I think you should play the Desires. I think Desires is just an activatable spell at any time. And the thing with Prosperity and Extravagance that I really didn't like is if you did somehow get to the engage, you can't even get the draw effect. And I think resolving engage for max value is definitely like the approach that people should go about it with. And then another hand trap, Impermanence. So Impermanence, Ash, Valor. I think this has been seen play nonstop last format, and I think it'll see play this format as well. And then another flex spot, the Strike. I was just like, what's a very solid trap? Going first, going second. Strike's really solid. Obviously, as we figure out what the format actually is going to look like, because this is in preparation for the deck. The deck is just very well rounded right now. I'm not going to play anything crazy just yet until I see how the deck actually feels, how consistent it is, because I think there could be issues with that. Maybe we need to play more area zeros, but for the moment being, cookie cutter list that is very standard at going first. That's very important because the deck would definitely change a lot if you built it to go second. And I'm still trying to figure out which way is the proper way to play Striker, because when Striker was one of the best decks, it was still all over the place, most of the builds, and whether or not going second or first was correct. And then the extra deck, Access Code Talker, Halky Fibrex, and the Selene play, like all these 3 I think should be in this deck. It gives a way for you to actually OTK because you can either use the Effect Veiler as your tuner or the Ash as the tuner to get to Halky Fibrex. Halky Fibrex will summon a Veiler out of your deck. You make Selene, and then you can link 4. Very simple. And then a lot of times your Widow Anchors or Shark Cannons can also steal tuners and do the same exact thing. So it's not just you have to use these hand traps as your tuners. You could definitely do it in other ways too. You just need the Effect Veiler in your deck. And I think Effect Veiler being really strong is nice for this format. And then the Striker links, I think you should just max out on all the Striker links. You're going to be grinding with this deck. If you don't like grinding, do not play this deck. This is going to be a lot. You're going to slow down the game a lot. That's what Striker always did. And then you're going to slowly suffocate them out of the game. So 3 Hayate, 3 Kagari, 1 Kaina. I could consider playing 2 Kaina. but I chose to play the a different one at 2, and then 3 Shizuku. So those are all standard. 1 Kaina is also standard, and then I don't think this is that standard, but I would definitely consider playing either 2 Zeke or 2 Kaina. I think Zeke's actually really good. Another way to unlock your main monster zone, because like I said, the striker spells cannot be used if you have cards in the main monster zone, and Zeke is very easy to be made. Just need a striker monster and anything else with it, and you can make a Zeke. So I think Zeke's very solid. That's the extra deck. I'll go into the side deck real quick, but obviously everything's due to change. Gamma Driver, when you go second, Gamma's crazy. This is one of the decks that can meet Gamma's requirements. It can fill Gamma really well. I know it conflicts with Desires, but I think it's fine. Usually when you're going second, you're going to use the spells to try to bait some effects. You'll use Widow Anchor, target something they might try to negate or something like that. Then you can Gamma. Gamma's always been super strong in this deck. Skullmeister, because I think it's either going to be Skullmeister here or the Cycle Reader, but Skullmeister hits a little bit more than Cycle Reader does, but we'll see how strong Drytron stays after this list, because Drytron's looking like the combo deck to beat, and then Tri-Brigade is looking like the control deck to beat. And then Pankratrops, triple evenly, Duster, and then 3 Judgment when you go first. Very simple. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know, all the Striker players out there, let me know how you guys would build a deck, because I'm definitely trying to fine-tune it. This is as standard as it can get with 1 engage. Definitely a solid way to approach it if you're going to try to go first. Do we need to play more rows? Is Mystic Mind the wave, and is going first or second the wave for the Striker deck? Right now, I always get scared to tell my opponent, no, I want to go second, but maybe because of the way that the Striker deck functions, going second might be better, just because Hayate getting engaged is very, very free to me. Guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe for the deck list, and stay tuned for more, and peace.